Assalamu alaikum. Today we will see an example of shift register visually to understand it more clearly. Suppose it is an example of serial input, serial output shift register. Why it is serial input, serial output? In our previous video we already said that if our flip-flop has only one single input line and only one single output line, and if they are internally connected with each other, then this will called a serial input and serial output shift register. Suppose this is our input, which is a 4-bit binary information. There can be any information. We just take as a symbol of our binary information. Suppose this is 4-bit. So as the flip-flop has only one single input line, that means in the first clock pulse it will take only one single bit. Suppose this is our one single bit, and at first clock pulse this is gone as input through our first flip-flop, and after the clock pulse we will get this as our output, because we have used here D flip-flop. Why D flip-flop? Because it will give the same as output as we give in the input. So after first clock pulse, this binary information will be transferred through our first flip-flop, but there is no output line, so we cannot see this output of the first flip-flop. It is the internal process of the register. So after the first clock pulse, this bit transferred through our first flip-flop. Then when we give the second clock pulse, what will happen? As here an internal line connected between these two flip-flops, so here the output comes from the first flip-flop, that will be the input for our second flip-flop. So it will work as input for our this second flip-flop, and our second bit will be came for our first flip-flop as input, and for after the second flip-flop, this first bit will transferred through our second flip-flop, and this bit transferred through first flip-flop output, and it will came at the second flip-flop output. And when we give another clock pulse, then this will act as input for our third flip-flop, this will act as input for our second flip-flop, and this will act as input for our first flip-flop. So how it will proceed? It will act as input as third flip-flop, and it will transfer through the output of third flip-flop. Then for second flip-flop, this is the input, then it will pass this bit as the output of this second flip-flop, and this first flip-flop will take this as input and give the output as our first flip-flop. But still we can't see any output here, because we only can see this single output line which is connected to this our fourth flip-flop. So these are the internal process of the register. And when we give our fourth clock pulse, it means this our last bit will get entered as input through the first flip-flop, and it will transfer through our first flip-flop as our output, and this will act as input for our second flip-flop, means it will give it as our output of second flip-flop. Then this third flip-flop's input is this binary bit, and it will act as the output of our third flip-flop, and this blue binary bit will act as the output of our fourth flip-flop. After the operation, this will termed as the output of our fourth flip-flop, means this white binary bit is the output of first flip-flop, this red is the output of second flip-flop, this green is the output of third flip-flop, this blue is the output of fourth flip-flop. After our fourth clock pulse, then we can see at the output line, we can see here only one single bit, and this is shown to us. So after the fourth clock pulse, we can see our output, but it is only one single bit. If we want to see our 4 binary bit, then we will have to provide extra clock pulse. So here from this we can see that if here we have 4 flip-flop, 4 binary bit, and after 4 clock pulse we can see our output, but here we can see only one single output. Then if we provide our 5th clock pulse, what will happen? This white work as input of our second flip-flop. So after the operation of this flip-flop, this work as the output of this second flip-flop, and this red work as input of third flip-flop, then it will give the output as third flip-flop, and this green will be the output of our fourth flip-flop, and we can see this as our output. So it means after the fifth clock pulse we can see only 2 bits, but after we provide sixth clock pulse, what will happen? This red bit will act as input for our fourth clock pulse. After the operation this clock flip-flop, we will get this as output, and this will act as input for our third flip-flop, then we will get it as output for our third flip-flop. So as it is the output, red is the output of our fourth clock pulse, we can see as the output of this output line. And after the, when we provide our seventh clock pulse, then this fourth flip-flop has the input as the last bit, and it will take the white as the input of fourth flip-flop, and it will give it as output for the output of fourth flip-flop, and we can see these 4 output binary bits. So if we want to see our total binary bit as our output, we will have to provide extra 3 clock pulse for this case. But if we want to see just only single output here, then we will give the number of bit we give input here, we will have to give the same number of clock pulse for getting only one single output. This I have already discussed in our last video of shifter resistor, and here I give a visual example to understand it more clearly.